वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दं साक्षाधारितेन समस्तशास्त्रे युक्तस्य भाव्यायितेव सात्रे किन्तु प्रभुर्याप्येव तस्य वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दं यस्य प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादोऽन्वयकुतोऽपि न्यायस्तु वान्दस्य यस्य त्रिशान्तं वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दं 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 नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदृष्टारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण संसारे दावा नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रहलाद दाहिने हिरण्यकशिपुर्वक्षः शीलटङ्कनखलाये हितो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह बहे नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह बहे नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नाथा अद्भुत सिंह नवि Pita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Vrinda Keshavamrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tave Kare Kamal Hare Naka Anuta Singha Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Vrinda Keshavamrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nashingadev 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 Jaya Nashingadev Jaya Pelat Maharaj Pelat Maharaj Pelat Maharaj Jaya Pelat Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol छः बज के 5 मिनट महाराज कौन सा वर्ष करना है भागवतम में सेवन के
मिला
हिंदी भी नहीं मिल रहा है।
इंग्लिश में ही तो पढ़ना है।
इसमें 6 से 10 तक आया। चैप्टर 4 कैंटो 7 चैप्टर 3 श्रीमद् भागवत चैप्टर
चैप्टर का नाम बताइए आपने।
Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal.
नेक्स्ट क्या है?
Next chapter. Fourth chapter. Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe. Next chapter. Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. Next chapter. Prahlada's instruction. Prahlad instructs his demonic schoolmates. Only translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of life from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary, like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The whole purpose of Vedic civilization and of reading the Vedas is to attain the perfect stage of devotional service in the human form of life. According to the Vedic system, therefore, from the very beginning of life, the brahmacharya system is introduced so that from one's very childhood, from the age of 5 years, one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Modern civilization, not referring to the verdicts of Vedic literature, it's so cruel to the member of human society that instead of teaching children to become brahmacharis, it teaches mothers to kill their children even in the womb on the plea of curbing the increase of population. And if by chance a child is saved, he is educated only for self-gratification. Gradually, throughout the entire world, human society is losing interest in the perfection of life. Indeed, men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling the duration of their human life by actually preparing to transmigrate again to the degraded species among the 8.4 million forms of life. The Krishna consciousness movement is anxious to serve human society by teaching people to perform devotional service, which can save a human being from being degraded again to animal life. As already stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Bhagavad Dharma consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. In all the schools, colleges and universities and at home, all children and youth should be taught to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, they should be taught to hear the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, to put them into practice in their lives, and thus to become strong in devotional service, free from the fear of being degraded to animal life. Following Bhagavad Dharma has been extremely easy in this age of Kali. The Shastra says, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam, Kalau Nastiva, 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 Gatir Annatha. One need only chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everyone engaged in the practice of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra will be completely cleansed from the core of his heart and will be saved from the cycle of birth and death.
Without loud noise, slowly. Next one.
The human form of life affords one a chance to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, every living entity, especially in the human form of life, must engage in devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. This devotional service is natural because Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is most beloved, the Master of Soul, and the well-wisher of all living beings. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, the human form of life affords one a chance to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, every living entity, especially in the human form of life, must engage in devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. This devotional service is natural because Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the most beloved, the Master of the Soul, and the well-wisher of all other living beings. Purport. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram ekatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam santim rikshati. The sage, who knows me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wishers of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Simply by understanding these three facts, that the Supreme Lord Vishnu is the proprietor of the entire creation, that he is the best well-wishing friend of all living entities, and that he is the supreme enjoyer of everything, one becomes peaceful and happy. For this transcendental happiness, the living entity has wandered throughout the universe in different forms of life and different planetary systems. But because he has forgotten his intimate relationship with Vishnu, he has merely suffered life after life. Therefore, the educational system in the human form of life should be so perfect that one will understand his intimate relationship with God or Vishnu. Every living entity has an intimate relationship with God. One should therefore glorify the Lord in the adoration of Santarasa and revive his eternal relationship with Vishnu as a servant in Dashyarasa, a friend in Sakhyarasa, a parent in Vatsalya Rasa, or a conjugal lover in Madhurya Rasa. All these relationships are on the platform of love. Vishnu is the center of love for everyone, and therefore the duty of everyone is to engage in the loving service of the Lord. As stated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yashyam aham priya atma sutasya sakhya guru suhurdo deva istham. In any form of life, we are related with Vishnu, who is the most beloved, the super soul, son, friend and guru. Our eternal relationship with God can be revived in the human form of life, and that should be the goal of education. Indeed, that is the perfection of life and the perfection of education. Prahlad Maharaj continued, my dear friends, born of demonic families, the happiness perceived with reference to the sense object by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life according to one's past fruitive activity. Such happiness is automatically obtained without endeavor, just as we obtain distress. In the material world, in any form of life, there is some so-called happiness and so-called distress. No one invites distress in order to suffer, but still it comes. Similarly, even if we do not endeavor to obtain the advantage of material happiness, we shall obtain them automatically. This happiness and distress are obtainable in any form of life without endeavor. Thus, there is no need to waste time and energy fighting against distress or working very hard for happiness. Our only business in the human form of life should be to revive our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become qualified to return home back to Godhead. Material happiness and distress come as soon as we accept a material body, regardless of what form. We cannot avoid such happiness and distress under any circumstances. The best use of human life, therefore, lies in reviving our relationship with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Endeavors, fourth verse, translation. Endeavors merely for sense gratification or material happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy with no actual profit. If one's endeavor are directed towards Krishna consciousness, one can surely attain the spiritual platform of self-realization. There is no such benefit from engaging oneself in economic development. We see materialistic persons busily engaged in economic development all day and all night, trying to increase their material opulence. But if we suppose that they get some benefit from such endeavor, that does not solve the real problems of their life, nor do they know what the real problem of life is. This is due to a lack of a spiritual education. Especially in the present age, every man is in darkness in the bodily conception of life, not knowing anything of the spirit soul and its needs. Misguided by the blind leaders of society, people consider the body to be everything, and they are engaged in trying to keep the body materially comfortable. Such a civilization is condemned because it does not lead humanity toward knowing the real goal of life. People are simply wasting time and the valuable gift of the human form, because a human being who does not cultivate spiritual life but lies like the cats and dogs is degraded in his next life. From human life, such a person is put into cycle of continuous birth and death. Thus, one loses the true benefit of human life, which is to become Krishna consciousness and solve life problems. Verse number 5. Therefore, while in material existence, bhavam ashrita, a person fully competent to distinguish wrong from right must endeavor to achieve the highest goal of life as long as the body is stout and strong and is not embarrassed by doing ill. Purport. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj at the beginning of this chapter, Kaumaramachrit Pragya. The word Pragya refers to one who is experienced and who can distinguish right from wrong. Such a person should not waste his energy and valuable human lifetime simply working like cat or dog to develop his economic condition. For one word in this verse, there are two readings, Bhavam Ashrita and Bhayam Ashrita. But accepting the meaning of either of them will bring one to the same conclusion. Bhayam Ashrita indicates that the materialistic way of life is always fearful because at every step there is danger. Materialistic life is full of anxieties and fear, bhayam. Similarly, accepting the reading bhavam ashrita, the word bhavam refers to unnecessary trouble and problem. For want of Krishna consciousness, one is put into bhavam, being perpetually embarrassed by birth, death, old age and disease. Thus one is surely full of anxieties. Human society should be divided into social systems of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra, but everyone can engage in devotional service. If one wants to live without devotional service, his status as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra certainly has no meaning. It is said, Sthanal Dreta Patante Adha. Whether one is in a higher or lower division, one certainly falls down for want of Krishna consciousness. A sane man, therefore, is always fearful of falling from his position. This is a regulative principle. One should not fall from his exalted position. The highest goal of life can be achieved as long as one's body is stout and strong. We should therefore live in such a way that we keep ourselves always healthy and strong in mind and intelligence, so that we can distinguish the goal of life from a life full of problems. A thoughtful man must act in this way, learning to distinguish right from wrong and thus attain the goal of life. Verse number 6, translation. Every human being has a maximum duration of life of 100 years. But for one who cannot control his senses, half of those years are completely lost because at night he sleeps 12 hours, being covered by ignorance. Therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years. Lord Brahma, a human being, and an ant all live for 100 years. But their lifetime of 100 years are different from one another. This world is a relative world, and its relative moments of time are different. Thus, the 100 years of Brahma are not the same as the 100 years of a human being. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand that Brahma's lifetime of 12 hours equal 4,300,000 times, and 1,000 years Saharsi Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Vidu. Thus, the Varshastham are 100 years are relatively different according to time, place, and circumstances. As far as human beings are concerned,
प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं ना उसका, तो उनको बुला के लाए क्या, पूछ के आए शेड्यूल पूछ लीजिए प्रभु जी से, सेवा तुल्य प्रभु से,
ड्यूटी डिपार्टमेंट।
सेवा तुल्य प्रभु पूछ लीजिए। उल्टे महाराज जी ने पूछा कि क्या चला, कितने बजे से क्या हुआ,
शेड्यूल
हाँ कितने बजे से स्टार्ट होगा क्या महाराज पूछ रहे हैं, वो बता दो मेरे को।
मैं पूछ के आया हूँ।
हाँ
Good. Good. Bye. Bye.
अभी आए नहीं, सेवा तुल्य प्रभु नहीं आए।
हमें जो
तो राधा द्वितीय प्रभु से पूछा मैंने, उन्होंने बताया 7:30 न्यास होगा।
वो आए
मैं राधा कांचू को बुलाऊंगा।
Gurukul and then Bhagavatam class, and after that Abhishek at 9 to 10. Maharaj 12 o'clock is the time, 12:20 is the main Murta, what he has given. So after Abhishek, then blessing of the deities, and 12:20 is the pranayama.
There is nothing I know.
No, Maharaj. Right now there's just Jagran, the deities will wake up and
का जो प्रोसेस है वो
there is no need for that, that is they will do
अंदर
that.
में करेगा
Yes, Maharaj, you can go for a walk and we will sing Maharaj Bhagavatam class, then Abhishek. Then after Abhishek Maharaj, there will be a little gap, 1 hour, we can have some association and some lectures Maharaj by you and whoever is there. The temple, no? Yes, ma'am.
कुछ है ना इसके बारे में आपके पास
Achha, about the school. Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. That is, yeah, that is old Maharaj. Yeah, 2 years back. After that, Maharaj, it was 2 years back. Okay, Maharaj, I'll try something. Yes, Maharaj. 2 years back, we after during the lockdown, after that we didn't print magazine. Before that, yes, yes, Maharaj. Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. We stay inside the campus. Yes, Maharaj. Only thing, Maharaj, when we should have made some guest rooms ready. Somehow we tried. That was the problem. Yes, Maharaj. Yes. Maharaj, 9:10, Maharaj, 10. Yes, Maharaj. 9:30 is the time, but almost 10. Yes, nice place. From here we can walk to Goshala and yes, that is Goshala is the best place.
दवाई दे दो पहले
तन्मय गोविंद
Here, I just came yesterday with sir.
बड़ा सुंदर रूम है।